In the wake of a tragic death, the rituals of mourning are designed to offer a structure for grief, a collective embrace for the bereaved, and a narrative to honor a life past. In Coronation Street, Billy Mayhew's funeral served a far more sinister, dramatic purpose. It became the stage for the most profound act of psychological warfare yet in Theo Silverton's campaign of coercive control over Todd Grinshaw. This storyline, which producer Kate Brooks vows to tell with unflinching realism, has evolved from a narrative of domestic violence into a complex, harrowing exploration of how an abuser weaponizes grief itself, using the death of his victim's savior to build an even more inescapable prison. The horrific circumstances of Billy's death are the dark bedrock of this new phase. Theo's act, refastening Billy's seatbelt and leaving him to die, was not a crime of passion, but one of cold, calculated elimination. He didn't just kill Billy, he eradicated the primary source of Todd's hope, his most credible ally, and the living proof that a life beyond Theo's control was possible. In the devastating aftermath, Todd is not only grieving a profound loss, but is also subconsciously mourning his own aborted escape. His isolation is now absolute, compounded by a grief that Theo meticulously curates and corrupts. Theo's public performance as the kind and supportive boyfriend is a masterpiece of malignant duplicity. To the outside world, he is the rock, the devoted partner steering Todd through the storm. He attends the funeral, offers a steadying arm, and presents a face of solemn concern. This facade is critical. It isolates Todd further, making any future cry for help seem like the ingratitude of a man unhinged by sorrow. As Brooks notes, the commitment to a long-term narrative is key here. Abuse isn't a crisis that peaks and resolves. It's an ecosystem that adapts. With Billy gone, Theo's control must evolve, becoming more entrenched, more intimate, and more inescapable. The funeral eulogy scene stands as one of the most psychologically brutal moments in recent soap history. Todd's inability to speak is a visceral expression of his trauma, a cocktail of pure grief, spiraling guilt, and the paralyzing pressure of performance. Theo's step into that breach is not an act of rescue, but a strategic coup. Seizing the sacred platform meant to celebrate Billy's life, Theo delivers a eulogy that is, for Todd, a covert indictment. Woven into platitudes and praise are the poisonous threads of blame, the subtle reminders that decisions have consequences, that paths taken lead to tragic ends. It is gaslighting on a grand theatrical scale, transforming a place of solace into a chamber of accusation. Theo doesn't just speak at the funeral. He weaponizes the entire ritual, ensuring Billy's memory becomes another tool for Todd's subjugation. This manipulation of grief is then followed by a chilling, pragmatic expansion of control, financial abuse, the interception of Todd's post, the discovery of debt, and the enforced solution, destroying the credit card and switching to a cash-only existence, is a devastatingly realistic escalation. Theo frames this as support, as looking out for him, thereby twisting care into confinement. Financial abuse is a potent tool of coercion. It strips autonomy, creates dependency, and makes the logistical prospect of escape seem impossible. By controlling the money, Theo controls Todd's capacity to make independent choices, to seek secret help, or to simply maintain a private sphere of his own life. It is the systematic erosion of adult agency, disguised as paternalistic concern. Producer Kate Brooks's emphasis on truth and realism is what elevates this storyline from a plot device to a vital piece of social commentary. The narrative meticulously charts the how of coercive control, a pattern recognized in law but often misunderstood in life. We see the isolation, cutting off Billy, George, Summer, the surveillance, the fitness tracker, the humiliation, critiques of diet and appearance, the intimidation, the violent beatings, and now the economic control. Each layer adds another bolt to the cage. Brooks's admission that it's a hard watch is an acknowledgement of the show's duty to not sanitize the reality of such relationships. The discomfort is the point. It mirrors the grim, grinding reality for victims. The profound tragedy of Todd's current situation is his internalization of Theo's narrative. Theo's constant refrain, that Billy's death is ultimately Todd's fault for wanting to flee, exploits the natural self-reproach that accompanies grief. Todd is not just grieving. He is potentially beginning to believe he is grieving a man he inadvertently killed. This conflates victimhood with perpetratorhood in his own mind, a psychological bind that makes him feel uniquely unworthy of salvation. Theo is no longer just an abuser he fears. He has become the sole comforter for a pain he claims Todd authored. Looking forward, the storyline's power will reside in its slow burn. As Brooks states, this is ongoing. The question is no longer about a singular moment of escape, but about the arduous process of Todd reclaiming his cognition, his perception of reality, and his sense of self-worth, piece by shattered piece. It will explore whether the community, so fooled by Theo's hero mask, can learn to see the hidden bruises of financial control and psychological torment. It asks if a man like George Shuttleworth, or a perceptive soul like Summer Spellman, can begin to see the discrepancy between the perfect boyfriend and the broken man beside him. In the end, the story of Todd and Theo is a grim reminder that the most dangerous prisons are those with invisible bars, built not in dungeons but in living rooms, and constructed from materials like grief, guilt, and a twisted version of love. Billy Mayhew's funeral did not bring closure. It unveiled the new, more sophisticated architecture of Todd's captivity. As Coronation Street continues this courageous, difficult narrative, it holds a mirror to a terrifying reality, reminding viewers that sometimes the most profound evil isn't a shout in a dark alley, but a soothing, supportive whisper at a graveside, laying the foundations for a life sentence.